Hey, folks, welcome back to the America Fest conference here in Phoenix, Arizona. Mike Church, KingDude here, live with you a little bit after 2 p.m. here in the Mountain Time Zone, and having a great day here today. Sage Steele just gave a great talk, and was very, I think she was very emotional about talking about President Trump, and that's kind of the theme that's been running through here. We've been meeting so many people here today. The goodie bag table is about half emptied now, so there's a lot of people that are making their way through the conference here and through our media row. We have with us a new special guest. We have Sean Connelly. Sean is a retired from the U.S. military. His father was a constitutional scholar, and I'm surprised that I never ran into him, running in the Constitution circles that I ran in. And Sean is here visiting with me here today. Sean, how you doing?
Good, doing great today. Doing great.
So what are you doing here at America Fest?
Well, I retired from the Army a couple years ago, partially because of the mandates and partially because of just the way life, was. We were ready to get out, and I was building the border wall.
You were building the wall?
Yeah, I was the deputy commander for the border wall for the Corps of Engineers, and I was able to build the border wall. And then when that was shut down, when that was shut down, my wife and I were looking at things, and with the mandates coming out and some other things, decided it was time to retire after 26 years. So,
now, did you see when you were building the border wall? Did you see those pieces that were actually that they're trying to sell off?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So I was responsible for the border wall all the way from California all the way to Texas border, and so we built 500 miles of it. But we also had a lot of materials to build additional 200 miles, as well as all the sensors and all the other things that were left in connexes to rot, and then were sold off or they're trying to sell off right now.
So you think they'll actually get the wall finished and built this time?
We'll see. I mean, it's still a matter of economics, because Congress is going to have to release a lot of that money.
When you're down there and you're building that wall, are there people that are sitting on the other side of the border looking at you like?
I'm sure they are.
You never saw any.
Well, no, I was up in here in Phoenix. I was running with the command center, and we were running the detail. So I was in charge of most of the contracts and operational side of things, of getting everybody out there and getting the personnel to get to where they needed to be.
So was President Trump kind of in whatever role he had? Was his role like as the head of Trump International, like supervising, checking in on the construction?
Pretty close. My bosses, the colonels I worked for and the generals I worked for, were basically on phone calls with the White House every few days, and so and Kushner was pretty much a facilitator between us and the White House on most of that operation. And it was every day we were getting a report of how far we got on miles, and we did 500 miles in 18 months, and it was pretty impressive.
And nobody thought that they could do 5 miles. They kept saying, you can't build that wall won't stand, it won't this, it won't that. Everything that they said about that wall was a lie.
Yeah, and the thing that's interesting about the wall is it's definitely physical barriers are absolutely essential, and they work. Everybody has one at their house. They have a door.
I have one.
Exactly, and people have fences. People have security gates at everywhere around the White House. They work. The problem you also have to have somebody observe it. So that was one of the critical aspects of building a wall, is having those observable points where you have, whether it's cameras or sensors, where people can report, because any barrier can be breached in a matter of time if nobody's watching you. And that's
so. Talk about the piece that he was talking about, the piece that they put at the top. I mean, he said he didn't like the way it looked the other day. And I'm like, who cares what it looks like? But he was like, dude, you're not building Trump Tower. You're building a wall to keep the illegals out.
So you'll get a kick out of this story. Speaking of that, so while we were down there, there was a section of the wall. He didn't like the way it looked, and it was rusty and it looked like it was worn, but it was just the material, steel. And so what he did is he commissioned a section to be painted. And it was this black glossy paint, beautiful paint. It looked like a car polish on the outside. And so the president was down there, and he was meeting with my bosses about that, and he loved the paint. But then the cost came back, and they're like, "There's no way we could afford that to basically build 500 miles of car paint." But other than that, because those paints wouldn't stick. But it was this beautiful glossy thing. I've actually got one of the top caps that he didn't like, because he cut them all off, filled it with concrete, and we took those top caps, and a lot of those we made placards to for those who were retiring and getting out.
I'm here with Sean Connelly, and Sean, a native of Rouge Baton, Red Stick, Louisiana, one of my favorite cities in the world. I'm a Louisianan. I'm an Acadian, as you are. Talk to our audience for a minute here about your dad. The fact that he was a constitutional scholar, argued in front of the Supreme Court.
Yeah, my dad was a constitutional lawyer. I was really blessed to grow up. I mean, just kind of as a kid, it was tough to have conversations with people because as a little kid, I was talking about politics at a young age. But my father was a constitutional lawyer. He actually argued against abortion at the Supreme Court level in the 1970s and early 80s. Unfortunately, they didn't prevail during that time. But he worked for Ronald Reagan, and I used to have a picture of him and my mother and Nancy Reagan and Ronald sitting at a coffee table kicking their back because he ran ballot security for the state of Louisiana, which was very interesting because I was a young kid. I was helping with ballot security, didn't even know what it was. We'd just go through lists of dead people in New Orleans.
What is this ballot security you speak of?
Well, my dad he gave us money. He gave us like $2 for every kid or every name we'd find that was dead and still on the voter rolls in New Orleans. And it was amazing how many of those people were still voting after that in the city of New Orleans.
You know, it is said that John Bell Edwards would not have won either of his two elections without the city of New Orleans and the cheat machine.
Absolutely.
The last votes come in, everybody knows that Orleans Parish, if there's a Democrat running, then they know how to manufacture the votes. The amazing thing to me is that we tolerate a system that actually can produce that.
Yeah, that's the sad thing.
I think the state of Louisiana really has turned the corner, though. And I think that Louisiana is much more of a business-friendly. It's certainly the most friendly, the best tasting state in the entire union. But you left. You live here now.
No, I actually live in Rogers, Arkansas. We lived here when I was doing the border wall, and then we moved to Northwest Arkansas because my wife and I just wanted to raise our boys somewhere. I like to change the season. I love Louisiana. Love LSU football. Love the food down there. I got some great friends down there. But I just wanted to raise my boys somewhere where I could hike in the mountains in the fall and winter and enjoy the weather. So
why did you come to America Fest?
Well, the reason I came to America Fest is there's several people I know through the network I've built over here and through the military, and people like Tom Hallman and stuff. I've met them through some of the things.
You work with Tom Hallman?
Yeah, I did. We did the briefings. We get on conference calls with him on a regular basis when we were doing the wall a few years ago. But one of the things with it is I've retired, but I'm also working, as a project manager and stuff. But I have the time and the knowledge to be able to maybe contribute to one of these volunteer committees or one of the other things for the border wall or for anti-terrorism. So I was just coming here to network and be able to build that opportunity. If they need me, I'm happy to do it. If not, I'm happy to hang out with my boys.
How you want people to get a hold of you?
Well, you can look me up on sconley89 at Instagram is my handle. Really haven't done much social media, but I'm kind of out there if anybody wants to send me a message.
And we'll put it in the YouTube video here too. Sean, well, thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, pleasure meeting you.
Man, it was so cool to meet you.
Yeah,
come back by. We'll hang out a little bit.
Sounds good. I'll have a coffee with you later.
We're going to get to meet Hulk MAGA.
Yes, I'll talk to him. Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Folks, we're going to send it back to the studio here for about 5 minutes. Coming back with Hulk MAGA here. It's Mike Church live from America Fest. I want to thank Sean for coming by, and all of you that are watching out there. Remember, tap that subscribe button down there. Give us a thumbs up on the broadcast. I am here Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. right here on YouTube on the Crusade Radio Network app. Sir, you need to scan that QR code right there. Oh, that's you. That's you. Scan that QR code right there. Get that app on your phone. And if you missed anybody from the stage, we are streaming the whole thing live on our app. We'll be right back here from the America Fest conference. Here's Mike Church here live here on the Crusade Radio Network.
During the pandemic, forcing people into home arrest. That's what that was.
Okay.
We were